You're watching TheStreet.com TV. We're talking about the Bancroft family and Dow Jones and what is the fate of this company. Jim Cramer, good to have you.
Good to see you.
Let's talk about tomorrow and the next day. Where do you see this laying out?
There's no other bidders here. I mean, it's all very facetious. No company's at all interested in paying a non-economic price, except for Murdoch. Murdoch was willing to pay 74 in 1996. He's certainly willing to pay 60 now. He needs it because CNBC makes $300 million. I mean, you know, you gotta crack that. I mean, it's a huge, great company, CNBC. I don't want him to win, obviously, but I think that it's pretty clear that not only can he afford to pay it, but that no one else can. No one else can take the hit to that bottom line and have any back-end reason to own it other than vanity. Could a Warren Buffett do it? Yeah, but he too has financial concerns. I mean, if you come up with a non-economic bid for all but yourself, you're going to win the thing. I think it's great that they put out that they would be open to other bidders. I found, once again, that to criticize them is to run the risk that you'll never be able to work for them. Fortunately, I'm blessed. I don't have to, and I already did. But that's the true story, is that there really isn't anybody else out there. And that's because Murdoch made the bid so that it's outrageous. And it would have been outrageous to turn it down. So
clearly, you believe that obviously, you know, Dow Jones will go to Murdoch. What about the New York Times? You wrote a column this morning talking about who's next.
Well, the Times is in trouble. The Times just boosted its dividend without totally reckless action. But again, every journalist wants to work for the Times. I mean, for heaven's sake, I would write that it wasn't reckless at all if I needed the job. Because, again, I mean, this is Wall Street Confidential, and I get in trouble when I speak freely, but let me just say that New York Times is a fabulous place to work, so the last thing you want to do is criticize Times management. That would be a stupid thing to do. But they raise the dividend, they don't have the money. The migration over to the dot-com has actually gotten slower. There is no core ad base that can be improved. The company, like Dow Jones, has been selling, never diversified away from the core business news. The New York Times has been selling all the good stuff. They're like a bad hedge fund manager, selling all the good stocks, keep the bad stocks. Will they do something? No, because they're uniquely financially suicidal. I think the Sulzbergers, unlike the Bancrofts, frankly, would like to just lose a lot of money until they're done, because they're so proud of the Times. The Bancrofts, remember, didn't run the Journal. See, that's the big distinction. Bancrofts do not run the Journal. It was never really theirs. They were the stewards, so-called. It actually was just the trustee. The Bancrofts are a varied group of people who paid very little attention, I believe, to the paper, but who would ever say that? Hey, I read it, so therefore I'm paying attention. But the Sulzbergers run the paper. Yeah. So, I mean, then you're starting to talk about livelihood. Well, I'm going to lose my livelihood to sell. I'm going to lose my prestige to sell. Very different instance. Much more important to just completely bang the financials, just completely load it up with debt, buy back stock in order to please shareholders who shouldn't be in, and just very cynically continue to put the paper out and preserve the jobs and do a good job. But it's not a stock. It's not a stock. It's like the Green Bay Packers. You can own stock in the Green Bay Packers, but it's not a stock. I think I'd rather own the Green Bay Packers than I would the New York Times.
Final question, Jim. I just want to ask you, the Dow Jones stock up 15% on this report.
I would sell stock right now.
Do you think you'd sell it right now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
You know, the Murdoch maybe bumps it a couple, but remember, Murdoch only has to bump it a couple for the Bancrofts, doesn't have to bump it a couple for the common.
All right, there you have it. This has been Jim Cramer for Wall Street Confidential on TheStreet.com TV. I'm Farnoosh Torabi. Don't go away.